I speak to you in the name of one God, holy and undivided Trinity. If the church had a family reunion day, this would be it. The day we get together and check in with those we know really well, those we kind of sort of know, including that weird old uncle that every family seems to have, and those we don't know at all. And we would remember all those in our family who have died, exchanging stories about what they did, who they were, laughing and crying a bit as we did so. And then we would take out the family photo album and look through it. Today, All Saints' Day, we do just that. We remember our family, all the saints of God, those who show the works and ways of a God who is full of surprises. Because though Hollywood probably would not shoot it this way, most of the saints of the church are a bit of a surprise. Most did not come straight out of central casting with permanent beatific smiles and perfect white teeth and polished halos perched on their heads. The saints look much more like the family photo albums we actually have here at Emmanuel, our photo directory, on the board in the parish hall, in pictures posted on Facebook. In other words, the saints are a mixed bag of people who operate from mixed motives and behave in mixed ways, sometimes breathtakingly holy ways, sometimes not so much. We might start by taking out a photo of St. Paul, one of the greatest of the great. He started off as a fire-breathing zealot who wanted to eliminate all traces of the early Christian church, but then ended up as our greatest theologian and evangelist, the Energizer Bunny of the church, without whom things would look very different for Christians. Or perhaps we would take out the great shot of St. Peter, the rock on whom Christ built the church. Those photos get taken out a lot, but if you keep leafing through the pages, you find others not so well worn. Like the photo of Constance and her companions, a group of nuns from New England who moved to Memphis, Tennessee. Less than 5 years later, an epidemic of yellow fever swept through the city. More than half of the city fled. But Constance and her companions stayed put, caring for the dying, perhaps thinking that God would protect them, perhaps not thinking about themselves at all. If you are in Memphis today, you can find them in Elmwood Cemetery, where they were buried after they all died of yellow fever. It would be hard to resist that photo of St. James the Greater, who on his way to death was so full of love and grace that the guard who was assigned to escort him to his execution converted to Christianity on the spot, and they ended up being executed together. Their last words an exchange of the peace, the same peace we exchange before Eucharist. But as I said, not all the photos are of perfectly holy folks. Take St. Christopher, for example, about whom many of us know the legend that he carried the Christ child across a swollen river, but who evidently was originally on his way to work for the devil when a mysterious hermit recruited him to work for God instead. Or Dietrich Bonhoeffer, whom we know as a martyr, murdered by the Nazis for speaking and doing love in a time of hatred, racism, and genocide. But if you read about Bonhoeffer's life, you find out he started as a rather spoiled, self-centered brat, much more interested in having fun and watching out for himself than placing the radical love of God at the center of his heart and his life. Generally speaking, saints are distinguished not by their goodness, but by their passionate love for God, which shines brighter than anything else about them. Fred Buechner has said that saints are like God's handkerchiefs, dropped on the world to remind us of the presence of the holy. I think Buechner is saying that saint-making is more God's business than our own, and that there were and are ordinary people whose love of God has led them to do things rooted in love that they never thought they could do, which, when you think about it, puts sainthood within the reach of all of us, even the most humble and obscure. And here's what I think is a rather exciting newsflash. You do not have to be dead to be a saint. I know that is one of the requirements of the Roman Catholic Church, but I don't think God pays a lot of attention to the rules of the Roman Church, or of any church for that matter. I think the very much alive Reverend Dr. William Barber, who, if you don't know, you need to look him up, and Bishop Michael Curry have a pretty strong claim to sainthood. And here's another exciting news flash. You do not have to be famous to be a saint either. So what is it that makes a saint? Extravagance, excessive love, flagrant mercy, radical affection, exorbitant charity, immoderate faith, intemperate hope, inordinate love, none of which is an achievement, a badge to be earned, a trophy to be sought. All are secondary byproducts of the one thing that truly makes a saint, which is the love of God. Membership in the body of Christ, which is what all of us, living and dead, remembered and forgotten, great souls and small, have in common. Some of us may do more with that love than others. Some may find themselves able to reflect it in a way that causes others to call them saints. But the title is one that has been given to all of us by virtue of our baptisms. The moment we rose dripping from the holy water, we joined the communion of saints, and we cannot go back any more than we can give back our names or the blood in our veins. So All Saints' Day is a family reunion indeed, a family made kin by Christ. There are heroes and scoundrels in the family, beloved aunts, estranged cousins, relatives we adore, and those who plainly baffle us or drive us crazy. They are all ours, and we are all included. On All Saints' Day, we worship amidst a great fluttering of wings, with the whole host of heaven crowding the air above our heads. Paul is there, and Peter, Francis, Mary, the Mother of God, Constance and her companions, Christopher, Martin, and Absalom, plus all those whom we have loved and lost during the year: Dottie, Cliff, Elmer, Theo, Marcia, Polly, and Bob. Call their names and hear them answer, present. On All Saints' Day, they belong to us, and we to them. And as their ranks swell, so do the possibilities that open up in our own lives. Because of them, and because of one another, and because of the God who binds us all together, we can do more than any of us had dreamed to do alone. So to all who are baptized today throughout the world in the church on this All Saints' Day. Welcome to the family. We are so glad you are here.